Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And well, today, if you haven't seen the cover, if you're listening on podcast, we're definitely going to be talking about Astrobot, the new sensation from Asobi Studios, and of course, the savior of the PlayStation right now. But they will also be having a PS5. Well, we think it's a PS5 Pro announcement. They're officially calling it a tech announcement on Tuesday morning, basically. Mark's been playing Star Trekker and Star Wars Outlaws. We'll get into some Ubisoft talk as well and some other things. And we're going to talk about all those things and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right. Well, we do appreciate everybody that watches or listens, and whether you do it live, which you can do every Monday around this time. Usually we start a little bit earlier, but I was supposed to be running errands and plans change, So either way, we're going to be doing the show here around the 5 to 6 o'clock time frame. And yeah, that's when you can watch it live either on the YouTube channel W2 Network, either Twitch W2 Network, Facebook W2 Network, or you can just listen later on podcasts, which you can find anywhere there are podcasts pretty much. Check your favorite podcast provider, and pretty much it is there. And yeah, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, though, you get everything we do here, along with some other cool shows that we have on the network. So if you like anime, especially the new kind of anime, you can check out Otaku Cafe. They do a great job of reviewing all the new anime that comes out, like every season. They do awards for the seasons when they finish. So it's if you like anime, you definitely should check it out. And if you like movies, TV, all that stuff, the Relative Broadcasting people have you ready to go. And I'm pretty sure that, they've been keeping up with all the movies so far. They're going to be doing that Beetlejuice. Either may be there by the time you're listening to this here, because they're usually pretty quick. Usually on Tuesdays is when they do those reviews. But they not only movies, but they also keep up with the TV shows as well, and even metal music and other things too. So be sure to check that out. But that's enough with the promoting here. I guess let's start with the video games, Mark.
Sure.
Astrobot. I'm sure all y'all probably know by now. It's been getting ridiculous praise, getting genre-defining praise, all-time video game type praise. So y'all should
after the hit of Concord.
Yeah, Sony knew what they had because they planned this wonderfully well. They good on them for being really cutthroat about this. We're going to end the game that's been causing us all this grief the same day that we have our tremendous platformer coming out, and everybody's going to forget about Concord for a while because you're going to be talking about Astrobot, and that's exactly what happened. The reviews came out the day before. Like I said, all this kind of glowing praise, and then on Friday it released. I had a pre-order ready to go, and it is it lives up to all that hype for me. Look, I know some people are calling it, they just copied a bunch of 3D Mario stuff and then stuck it into one game. I don't think that's really unfair, and that's absolutely ridiculous to say. I think you're a Nintendo bot if that's your whole impression of the game without probably having even played it. And second, that's all you can really think about, just how games always take from each other. That's just how games have always worked. You take the best thing of something else, and the way you use it in the new game and the way you're able to blend that together is how that works.
I'm not saying Astrobot took a lot from Mario 64. I'm saying it took a lot from Croc.
Yeah, there you go, from Croc. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that'll be maybe they'll honor Croc in the DLC.
Right.
With a bot, So essentially, it's very much feels like it's a longer version of what you get with Astro's Playroom, right? So if you played that Astro's Playroom, the free pack-in with the PS5, you're gonna be right at home here because you get a lot of that, right? It is essentially a showcase for the controller. Once again, nobody knows how to use this controller apparently better than Team Asobi, and people have been doing this for 4 years now, and Team Asobi still kicks everybody's butt at how to use this controller.
It's not that people don't know; it's people don't care. There's a difference.
Well, there's that too, but I think it's like it's something about this the way they obviously they do R&D for Sony, so they got a lot of time to be with that controller, figure out the kinks, do all that stuff, and obviously they kind of designed it to be that the first time. But it's cool. It's like, you're riding around in your PlayStation 5, and then an alien comes and attacks our buddy Astro here, and then the whole adventure begins. And after that, you're using a DualSense controller as your, ship beyond that. So, and you can even customize the little ship and everything. But I mean, look, it's a 3D platformer. It does amazing things with all the little different suits that he gets, from like a dog that does like jetpacks to like boxing cactus gloves to an umbrella that he can wear that you can hear the rain with the DualSense, which is really cool. Yeah, I'm loving the game. I think if you love platformers, you definitely need to go buy this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Go check. It's actually $60. It's not 70. They could have charged 70 for this if they wanted to, but I think they kind of took into account that you could technically finish the game the first time without, if you don't care about getting all of the little puzzle pieces or the bots, you could technically probably finish this game in about, I want to say 8 hours the first time. But the game wants you to explore it. It wants you to find the bots, the hidden bots, and the VIP bots, which are all based off of, very much like Astro's Playroom, all based off of the
like PlayStation characters.
And not even PlayStation, right? Just like kind of formative things of PlayStation, and even just third-party players that are third-party like studios that have important games that have been on PlayStation, all the way from the early days of PlayStation, like Parappa the Rapper, all that. Even earlier than that, probably, to the latest stuff, the stuff that we know, God of War, Last of Us, even, shout outs to Persona and that. Very surprised there's no like Square Enix representation in here at all. You'd think that Final Fantasy would have got some.
Well, they've always been squirrely about having, being in third party or, games like that.
Yeah.
So like how involved they were in getting like Cloud and Sephiroth into like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but they had the Buster Sword in Playroom, right? But you're right. They are kind of like very protective of their IP, especially with 7 Rebirth and all that kind of being a game that came out this year. I mean, they just released a bot in Playroom that you could take into this game, like last week or whatever. So they could put these in if the game continues to sell well and they keep making content. They're going to make speed run levels and other challenge levels in the game, and they're going to put it in later. So there's going to be more content for this. There's also it's not just yes, Playroom was very accessible. Anybody could have played that kind of and gotten through it. And there are a lot of those levels that are like that, where it's not that difficult, but there are others that, okay, you might lose a bunch. And then there's some that are special that are like coated with the different logos of the face buttons of the controller. So you have the triangle, the circle, the square, well, they officially call it cross here, but the X levels.
Yeah.
And those are a lot harder. Those are like your, the Mario levels that you get at the end of Mario games. Usually they get really hard, or the extra ones.
Right.
Those are like very precise. Like I had to redo one like 30 times because you're on this like armadillo that you jump on, and it makes you go in like you're on a unicycle. And so he's going extra fast, and you can only jump one time because the game basically teaches you have a double jump, and the double jump allows you to do the thing where he shoots the lasers out of his feet, and you can kill enemies with it too. So it's like you have to untrain yourself to always double jump to then single jump, so you don't lose the little
the
armadillo
platform
ball.
Right.
And then you also have things that are there trying to kill you. So yeah, it's it's really challenging. So I definitely think that like people that are going, oh man, I'm gonna play this with my kids, and definitely you can do that, but it's not a kid's game, I don't think either. It's definitely something that it wants you to have fun with it. And it makes a fun thing of collecting the bots too, because it has a base world where you can then take those bots and then unlock other bots with it, and you make like different little things with them, so you can go up higher in those little areas and get secret things. And they had the gotcha machines back too, so you get little different things with the bots too. It's like each one of them has their little representative thing that you can unlock with it, so that they kind of move around and you see them do things. So it's neat. All of that stuff is fun. If you love video games, it's also one of those things where it's like there's so many of these little bots in here that I go, what game is this from? I have no idea, and you go back and look at it, and I bet there are so many people that are buying games based off of seeing the bot and going, oh man, I remember I saw somebody bought Sly Cooper yesterday because
I saw someone bitching about Days Gone, so that was fun.
Yeah, the creator, John Gavin, was complaining about Days Gone not being represented in this game. Dude, there's people that probably like, whoa, where's this guy from, and may have went and looked up Days Gone,
Where's this extremely bland biker from? Is it Sons of Anarchy?
Like,
wait, no.
It's like I'm just saying, like, there's so many games represented in here that I think you're gonna get a boost from sales from people seeing those characters in here. And it might help, So I just think that being negative towards it is not helpful, not helping you. They put your character in the game. I mean, that means something. There's a Twisted Metal show out there, and they don't even have a Twisted Metal character in here.
Don't worry, they'll patch that character out soon enough.
Yeah, when he keeps complaining, they'll keep.
But maybe we'll just license the Sons of Anarchy guy. Be like, here's Jax Teller for some reason. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, if you're not sold, go watch some gameplay, and it will probably sell you by the end. It's just Astrobot's just like, I don't know how you can hate him. He's just a lovable little. It feels like a baby that can move, kind of somewhat, because he doesn't talk, but he kind of has some of those characters like a little child playing, and it really does take you. It made me have this like feel of like, oh, I'm playing Super Mario World again on Super Nintendo. Like it gave me it pushed me back to that time, and maybe just have this like all those feels again. Yeah, Mario does that every time as well, but it's just like, I guess because it has all that PlayStation nostalgia in it too, it pushes you back to that time for sure.
Sure.
And I think even if you don't have the PlayStation nostalgia to like want to go look for all those bots, it's still a fantastic game in its own right, regardless of that. But obviously, it does help if you care about that, considering the average age of gamers is, our age or basically millennials at this point. So,
right.
Well, I know you've been playing more Star Wars Outlaws.
Yep.
How's that going?
Still don't like it. And it's funny because Jens doesn't either. I mean, I think he dislikes it more than I do. I'm like way further in it than I am. I'm way further than him because I actually play it.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. I mean, the game is extremely bad about telling you where stuff is or how to do stuff. Like, it would be helpful if you're exploring a cave and it's like, oh, this upgrade's in this cave. Like, okay, how do I do that? And the game doesn't tell you anything. It's like, oh, you need this one upgrade. You need another upgrade to unlock this upgrade. It's like, okay, that'd be cool. Why don't you fucking tell me? Instead of me having to Google it, or like spend an hour trying to figure out how to get in this goddamn base.
Well, I think wasn't that the point, was that they wanted, because you have to stealth around and stuff, they didn't want to just be telling you where things are. They kind of wanted to do the anti-Ubisoft thing of saying, okay, it's in this area, go find it.
Okay, stealthing around or figuring how to out where it is, that's one thing. But the game not telling you, hey, you need this one blaster module to get through, through the door, that's another.
Yeah,
So
okay, I can agree with that.
it just leads to frustration on Jens's part, or me just like quickly Googling it and going, okay, I guess we can't just do this now. I'm going to do something else, Yeah, I met Lando. He was bad. Yeah, it's still a mess. I'm still plowing through it, but
yeah, I mean, what do you think about this game's low reception? I mean, not great reception critic wise, and then sales haven't been great apparently of that much of the game either. So it's been leading to Ubisoft just absolutely.
Yeah, that's entirely valid, and it's on them. Well, I guess it's more on them. I mean, who knows what Star Wars mandated or Disney mandated, but for a game called like Star Wars Outlaws, you're not an outlaw at all. You're just this kind of well-meaning underdog character, and it'd be like, this would be great if like you could be attacking civilians or actually being like a roguish character, but you can't. So it's entirely flat-footed. Like, it'd be great if you could actually like partner up with the Imperials, like just as an idea, but they're always just like the bad guy, and it's like, okay, so it's like every other goddamn Star Wars thing.
Well, yeah, it's still a rebel story.
No, it's not. It's a rogue story. I mean, she actually kind of dislikes the rebels
in a way, but
I mean, that's the whole point. Is like, and Jens was complaining about this earlier. Like, earlier Star Wars games actually like had you be part of the Empire or had like more, they had more black and white lines. And this game just makes you want to be like, it's all this gray character, and so it's like, okay, this character has no bite because you want her to be this like nice character, but it doesn't fit the story because that's so boring,
Well, it's also like they're sneaking around being a smuggler. Like, why do they have to be a nice character? You'd think that they would have added more choice for you if you just want to be a total asshole.
Yeah, like a good example is all the stealth, quote unquote stealth kills. Like, you don't really kill anyone; you just like knock them out.
Right.
And it's like, wouldn't this be great if like this, stormtroopers on this like ledge? Why can't I just like push them off instead of just knocking them out? Because pushing them off, that would be a darker thing. But also, hey, the other stormtroopers wouldn't find his body then.
Yeah.
Like you can't like pick up bodies and move around like Assassin's Creed. Just makes the entire thing feel like really toothless.
They don't want it to be a Hitman Star Wars either. I think there's still Disney involved in here. I don't think they still want kids or at least teenagers to be playing this game. So
yeah, but it just makes it feel like incredibly, like it's just lame. It's just like that Borderlands movie,
You always got to take a shot at the Borderlands.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be rated R, and then they scaled that back and screwed it up.
Right? Yeah, because they found out they needed more people to watch it.
Yeah, so that worked out well.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody watched it, so it's fine.
Yeah. So I'll keep hacking away at it, but yeah, it's just so many like missed opportunities.
That sucks. You've also been playing a new game, a Star Trucker.
Yeah, I got a code. It's pretty all right. I mean, I like the demo quite a bit. The only problem with the game really is like it doesn't tell you anything. It has a very brief tutorial, and it's like, hey, if you want to actually learn about the game, basically actually literally says like read the instruction manual. And it's like, that's not helpful. Like, how about you introduce like what are these systems or why are they important, or have like a fuller tutorial to help people along, not just, hey, you have a driving guide in the glove box, go read that,
You think it's a way for them to save money, possibly, of just?
I mean, maybe, but it's not. They already built the game. Like, I can't imagine like a series of videos or even like in-game. It wouldn't be cinematics, but it'd be like in-game missions or just someone talking to you. Like, get a voice actor back for 2 hours and have him or her explain like what the gravity system is and why it's important, or what the shutters do, or why they just like basic stuff like that would be helpful. But I still like it. Cool environment, or cool persona, or just a cool game to play and floor around in.
So is it essentially like a truck driving thing in space, or?
That is exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah, except you actually have like full 3D movement, and there's also like momentum.
Okay.
But the funniest thing is like the truck looks like a truck, even in space. It just
Yeah,
has like
I see
booster.
the pictures and
Yeah,
stuff of
so
it.
that's great. But yeah, it's like manage damage and oxygen supply and power systems and gravity and everything. And it's like, okay, there's a lot going on here. Read the damn guide does not explain a lot of this.
Right.
But yeah, keep plugging away at it.
All right, that's cool.
Yep.
Glad you're enjoying that. I'm also continuing to plug away at Visions of Mana. So
yeah,
that don't really have much more to say about it other than what I said last week. So
right.
But
it still has mana in it, right?
Yep, still has mana and gone a little further, but still with the same 3 characters. So don't not much else to say there. But all right, let's move on to the news here. And I guess, it'll probably by most people by the time they hear this or watch this, they'll have already seen that presentation. I guess the things to discuss out of it would be, do you think it is really going to be about the PS5 Pro?
I think it will be, but it shouldn't be. It'd be great if you just went up there and was like, all you people want is a PS5 Pro, but screw that. We're not done with the PlayStation 5.
Here's more stuff about it that made you go to sleep the first time, so we're gonna,
Yeah, here's even more ray tracing.
Right. And then the other things obviously are, you think that it will cost the rumored price of $700, and will it come with a disc drive or not? Rumors of that attachable disc drive happening again.
No, I think it'll be six. I think it might be 700 with the disc drive, but I think base model will be 600.
All right, so you think they're going to try to push you towards the digital model?
Yeah.
And then tell you, okay, well, we did make a model with a disc, but it's going to be $100 more. And then obviously maybe the 2 terabyte is also in the.
Yeah, or it could be like the optional disc drive, like they have with the other, like the regular PlayStation 5.
That's what I think too. I think they're gonna tell you, look, we've always been selling these detachable disc drives. This one actually doesn't come with a drive, that you have to buy the detachable disc drive, and we'll sell it together with the PS5 or whatever if you want to buy it that way.
Right.
I'd imagine that it's going to be only on the PlayStation Store for a while, just like the first PS5 was, and like the Slim was for a long while as well. So, you think it'll be 2 terabytes as well with the memory?
It should be, because 1 terabyte. Well, it's never 1 terabyte to begin with, but the 860 gigabytes they have, it isn't exactly a lot, especially when crap like Call of Duty takes up 200 gigabytes.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you have to have Call of Duty installed, and then you got to erase a bunch more stuff. I would think so too. If you're going to inflate the price, it's not just about the tech inside of it. I think you're also telling people that there's going to be memory, especially if you're going to promote the digital version as the main version this time, instead of, oh, hey, here's the disc version, and tell people, hey, well, if you want a disc, there's a disc drive you can buy. I think you definitely need to be putting more storage in there to get people to feel like, okay, I can do digital because I can keep more games installed at once.
Yeah.
I do think that it's going to be a PS5 Pro announcement. I don't think you bring Mark Cerny out for.
Oh man, they're bringing back the Vita.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to explain. Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting, right? If they did just kind of surprise people with that. But Yeah, it's going to be that. He might go more into that PlayStation frame rate up the frames technology that they were making. That's supposed to make the PS5 Pro the one of the other reasons you're supposed to want to buy this thing, because it'll make it to where even if it can't do, 60 frames and 4K, it'll upres to that. That's the promise of this thing. Once again, is that people are getting excited because they want to get a PS5 Pro because they feel like, well, now any game that couldn't do 4K 60 before is going to be able to do it now with this. So,
yeah, so it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, we'll see. I do think it'll be that rumored price. I wonder if that's how they will kind of like lessen expectations, or just kind of like not get people too pissed off. Is that, well, we took the drive out of it, so that one's $600, and if you want the drive, you can pay $80 more or whatever and get that drive separate. I'm sure they'll announce some kind of state of play where they will promote some more games before the end of this year as well. If the rumor was that it was all supposed to be announced together at state of play on the 19th, I think, of September. So we'll see if that still holds by the time we get to that.
Yeah.
But all right, I think that's it for the PS5 Pro. We'll see what winds up getting announced, and we'll get to talk about it next week. But something we talked about last week, Concord. Of course, it is officially now shut down. You cannot play the game at all.
The private server up.
I saw people were still buying the physical version.
Yeah.
As a collector's item, I guess.
Yep.
Sure.
Don't worry. Once Concord comes back, I'm sure those copies will be worth their weight in gold.
I really don't think that game is coming back.
Yeah.
I think that game is done. Even if you release it free to play, I don't think that that's going to save this game unless they just make the decision of, well, let's keep some people around to kind of just keep doing updates on this game, and
right.
and then it just kind of exists, and at least we have a live service thing that's generating, I don't know, microtransactions or whatever for you. But unless they really overhaul the game, which I don't, because it wasn't necessarily so much the gameplay. The gameplay was fine. It's just that's all it was, fine. And then you have a lot of things that people didn't like, the character designs, other things about
too much fake Michael Rooker.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with DEI, by the way. And people that are saying that if they would have had the I saw the thing going around about there was AI characters that were made that made them look sexier, and somehow that would have made the game sell more. I'm like, yeah, maybe to the,
to the Overwatch porn crowd.
Yeah, that small, really, really, really small crowd might have spent $40 on it. The fact that it cost $40, well, I mean, when Helldivers 2 sells well, I think the idea that you should sell these at $40 isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I think they overinflated what they thought this game was going to be. It's crazy to me that Sony saw the writing on the wall and still put this thing out to die. But I guess they live and learn, as you say. Speaking of company, go ahead.
They got one big hit at least this year, so good enough for them.
Yeah, it's crazy that Amazon's still going to have it in that secret level show.
Right.
Yeah,
they can't change it now. I mean,
they could just not air it because they're all separate. They don't have anything to do with each other.
But now it's going to be a great monument to how great Concord's, the plot and the characters were.
Yeah, that's exactly what we all need to remember.
And the final scene will just be Mark Cerny flipping people off. Be like, you fuckers caused this to not happen.
Right. It's your fault.
Exactly.
This is the episode that would have been, but you screwed it up by not buying the game. Destiny 2, speaking of another studio that's had problems, Destiny 2, Bungie's had issues, but the game was well received, at least. And I guess to kind of appease people, they're going to, or they can make more money off of it because, Sony's big time in the hole with this with Bungie.
Right.
They're going to focus on making more content, just not the like big one-time expansion pack and then hey, have at it for the rest of the time. They're going to make 2 like medium-sized expansions and then kind of all their other kinds of stories. So it's not going to be like go from A to B, C to D kind of plot. They're going to kind of like have you go around and find pieces of story and stuff like that and tie it together, I guess, to keep you playing longer. Do you think that this strategy works better than just saying, I guess, do the WoW thing where you do the one expansion?
No, because even WoW tried to pivot into that as well. It never really works out well. Like with their like mini, not micro expansions, but they're like, oh, we got a new patch. Here's a new raid tier and a new raid and a few other things. But it's like, except for people like way down in the hole, they don't care.
Right. Yeah, most people are gonna come play the expansion that haven't played it in like 6 months or whatever, and then they're gonna play all that stuff, and then they're gonna leave again. So,
yep.
At least let's hope it stays with Destiny, but
right.
I don't know.
No wild code for me this year, so screw them.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's like every time you've gotten that wild code. So
ever since that Microsoft expansion or acquisition, I should say.
Yeah, it's been a different.
I'll blame Phil Spencer.
That's it. Blame Phil for everything. That's the issue. There with that. Well, at least it's some good positive news for Bungie. They've had just bad news recently, so hopefully this gets some people to stick around and play more. But I don't know. They still have really good numbers for what it is, and that's
the game's still running, So
yeah, the game's still going. It's not Concord. It's not getting shut down. Obviously, Sony needs it to run because the way things are going with Marathon right now, they got to have this going on. So, speaking of another, I guess, Sony adjacent thing, Ballistic Moon, the developer that's working on the Until Dawn remake, which comes out in a month, October 4th, they are laying off staff. They don't release the number of staff like we've seen a lot of layoffs do. They're also UK based as well. We've seen a lot of turnover in a bunch of different UK studios this year. This was kind of founded by, obviously former Supermassive folks who did the original Until Dawn.
Right.
And, they basically did the particular same thing you hear every time with one of these. They got to secure the future of the studio. It's terrible that they gotta lay off people, but they have to do this or they won't be able to stay around, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, even with like successful game developers,
right.
Contract employees or, temporary guys. I mean, I have to imagine that either the tracking for the Until Dawn thing isn't too high, which kind of makes sense, because that's not exactly like an old game. And, they're not doing, it doesn't look like they're doing too much to it, honestly. And then B, like, you have to imagine like they might not have a contract or a job going forward or a big one. So it's like, yep, kind of got to lay some people off.
Yeah, and like you said, not only does it feels like they're just doing kind of like a remake, and it's not like they like re-recorded all the lines or.
I didn't know they did that because like, I'm kind of surprised they're able to do that because some of the people are like, a lot bigger now than they were. So
right. No, that's what I'm saying. I think that they're not like re-recording lines.
Oh yeah.
It's basically just better graphics and it's going to be on PC now and relive the story, all that. But it's not a game you can't play off of backwards compatibility. So
right,
I would expect this game to do fine. It's not going to do amazing or whatever. Right. But yeah, I mean, Sony wants to keep doing this. They keep doing all these remasters. So, and then this one has a movie coming out as well.
Right.
Which is interesting considering you're gonna cast your own people in it, obviously.
Yeah, but they always do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's
And
lame, but they do.
yeah, and how much of the story you're gonna follow? Or you're just making your own story and just naming it Until Dawn. You know, how many people are even gonna know that it's attached to the video game? To be fair, like when they go watch this.
I mean, Ubisoft made that werewolf movie, which is like shocking, but that would feel like good.
Right.
It's like,
exactly.
Okay.
I hope the movie's good. I like the franchise and all that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Should probably just do fine. The PlayStation 2, keeping on with the Sony track, has become the first console to enter Japan's Tech and Future Heritage Registry. This is done by their National Museum of Nature and Science. And it's now one of 380 items. And of course, this also includes the Sony Walkman, the first CD player, the first DVD player, which, Sony had big hands in that as well.
Right.
The reason why the PS2 was chosen is because it doubled as a DVD player and was the cheapest DVD player around. That's their words.
DVD players existed, but it really did kind of, popularize the format, or
Nah, it definitely did make it to where, everybody now that didn't have a DVD player before now definitely had one, and it was people's DVD players for a long time because DVD players cost.
I was at a used game store like last week, and the guy came in with the PS2. He was like, "Hey, do you fix systems?" And they were like, "Not really. Like, we send it out." And the guy was like, "Oh, because my PS2, I was playing a game and it just died." And they're like, "Oh, well, we can send it out to our guy." And he's like, "Yeah, that'd be helpful because it's still my primary DVD player." I'm like thinking like, "Yo, dog, it's 20 years later."
There's
like,
DVD players you can buy for $50, man. Like
55. Just go to Goodwill. You can get a any
go to
DVD player.
Well, yeah, true. Go to Goodwill. But you could buy you could literally go on Amazon,
right,
and buy the Sony DVD player for like.
you can buy a Blu-ray player for probably $50.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that plays DVDs.
Right.
Talk about you really trying to save money there with that.
Yeah.
But it led to it made an impact on their society.
Yeah.
Also, graphics are on par with games of the time, so that's kind of their reasoning for it.
Sure.
Surprised that there's no Nintendo stuff in there so far.
When has Nintendo ever been popular with technology?
True, but
the obvious one is, where's the Virtual Boy? It was the first, modern virtual experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one to be in there. But no, cool for the PS2. Still the highest selling console ever. Probably will be unless Nintendo happens to push it over the line. Still don't know if those numbers put out by Jim Ryan at the end are legit or not, but I haven't seen anybody try to dispute them either. So I guess we're just taking him for his word. I don't know on that. But still, cool for the PlayStation 2 to get another honor there. And also something that makes me happy, I'm sure it might as well for you, RGG Studios is not going to all of a sudden change the narrative or conversations or much of what Yakuza Like a Dragon or the Like a Dragon series is, even though they have more fans now. Whether it's because they're younger or because they're women, a lot more women are playing the game now. Because it's an RPG. Yeah.
I actually kind of wouldn't mind like a female-led one. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would. It would be cool to see if can Like a Dragon get big enough where you can do a spin-off series without Kiryu or Ichiban in it?
Right.
Yeah. That's the question there for people. It would be cool with all the different female characters you've had in that series.
Hey, if GTI can do it, Yakuza can as well.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, would be cool. But yeah, it's going to be continuing to be about middle-aged dudes and their problems, which obviously is still refreshing because most RPGs are still
Yeah, it's the plucky young
young.
hero. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially the JRPGs are all modeled after the anime look, or being the big young hero, especially now with isekais being big. It even plays into that more. So why not have something that's for the adults?
Right.
And especially because it has a lot of adult themed things in it. It kind of wouldn't make a lot of sense, I think, if you have younger main character that's in it. So
All the young people, all the old people in the games are like, completely unaware of technology. So all the young people got to explain it to them.
Also, I mean, like, that's the cool thing about it is when people get into a series, it's because they like what it's about, right?
Right.
So if you're gonna change it all of a sudden when you get these new people in, I don't think that's really gonna necessarily help you on that front.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, well, this isn't. I signed up for having out with these characters.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure that they will now with Nintendo getting into the swing of things with Kiwami. We'll see if it gets even more people.
I doubt it because those games have been up forever. And
yeah.
It's not,
No, but I think there's Switch only players that might have been waiting for that series to hit the Nintendo systems or whatever, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I could play this now." I see that people were always talking about it. So why not?
Play a 10-year-old game. Woohoo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like people don't play 10-year-old games, and that's
right.
That's a lot of what that system has been able to sell is ports. Speaking of old systems, though, you know what today is, Mark?
Yep,
today
Dreamcast
is
birthday.
Yes, the birthday of the Dreamcast. You have any memories of the Dreamcast?
Yeah, I bought it with a friend of mine and his mom. I had to go to like Toys R Us like 2 or 3 fucking times because I think we both got Sonic Adventure and they both didn't work. And I think on like the third time he got a copy that worked and mine still didn't. And my copy of like Hydro Thunder, you couldn't save, or like you could save but you couldn't load it, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yep.
Yeah.
Not exactly a winning launch, but it did have a good like launch lineup at the time. Well, kind of.
No, I did. I remember like loving the crap out of Hydro Thunder, and to the fact that like we used to go to Dave and Buster's a lot. So when they finally put a Hydro Thunder like arcade machine in there, I was like, "Wow, this is so cool! I play this at home, and now I can play this at this arcade."
Right. I mean, the Dreamcast standout one is obviously Soul Calibur. I think.
Right. Yeah.
Sonic Adventure was the big snow game. Like it snowed a lot of people. Thinking it was like Mario 64, and it's like, yo, it's not. Like you were in for a rude awakening.
I still like Sonic Adventure quite a bit. But yeah,
you like fishing with Big the Cat?
Of course.
You like Amy's dumbass hammer sequence platforming garbage? Like,
yeah, Amy was not one of the characters.
The problem with Sonic is Sonic Adventure is it's 6 parts of a game, but only like 1.5 or 2 at max is actually good.
Right.
So that's an issue. Like,
yeah.
But Soul Calibur, I think House of the Dead might have been a launch game.
House of the Dead too, yeah, as well.
Yeah.
I played the crap out of that too with my sister.
I played it on with a controller. I didn't even have a gun. I was like, whatever.
Also, that was another game that like, hey, we went to the arcade and just loved playing that with the actual gun, and then go home and play that, and then the 2K games came to life on that system.
Yes, way better than Madden too.
Yeah, people think that like, NBA, if you don't realize NBA 2K started with the Dreamcast, man, that's where that whole series exists and all that.
Yeah, at one point that series had integrity. Look what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, as has been the way with everything, we all got to try to monetize something in sports games now. But Power Stone as well, love the crap out of that game. It was the game to play with your friends all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember going to a store and my dad just being like, I don't remember exactly like what else was what the PlayStation 2 was about to come
That was
out.
like 2 years
Yeah.
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
because PlayStation 2 is 2001. So
And yeah, I just remember my dad, we went to a Best Buy and I kept looking at it, and then my dad's like, "You want that?" It's like, "You never had a Sega system before." And I was like, "But this, honestly, the system looked cool. Okay, the
yeah,
commercial was cool for that thing."
sure.
And it
My
just sucks that it came out at a time where, like, it just
my
got
mall
killed.
had my mall had a software etc. I think, or maybe an EV Games at the time, and they had like an import. This is like a month before this Dreamcast came out, but they had like an import Dreamcast set up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was Sonic Adventure in it. I think just like that first level, like the demo of it, and yeah, it got a lot of people into it. It's like, yo, that
Yeah,
wheel looks cool.
I definitely do think it did. Um, and then I mean, I went on to have other games with it. Also, I also had the driving wheel with the thing.
Yeah,
That was my first and only ever time I've had the driving wheel
right.
um, at home, so that was cool. But yeah, you can share your Dreamcast memories there. A great little system that unfortunately didn't get to live long enough, but it lived longer than Concord. So
Yeah,
you know,
for
here's
the
that.
full 2 years.
Um, but yeah, speaking of games that are coming out this week, though, for you to look forward to, you can go play Towerborn on Steam. Not on Xbox, but you can go play it on Towerborn. It's a game that's published by Xbox.
Yeah,
The Rugrats game, Adventures in Gameland, also comes out this week. If you've been
great.
jonesing for some
Okay.
Rugrats, the Satisfactory game comes out on PC. I've been hearing some decent, interesting things about that. That old Atari game, Yars,
Revenge.
they got Rising. They got remade into like a platformer. Um, it also comes out this week too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's kind of it for sort of forgot Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. All
Yeah, the
coming.
digital
So,
version, and then
yeah,
the retail one comes out like 2 months. So
right.
I
Just
asked for a
remember
code.
that.
I hope. Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I asked for a code. I hope I get it. 'Cause I really want that thing.
Yeah, I want that too. I might wait till later, see if it pops on a sale. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop also. I love that game. Reviewed that game for 411 whenever it came out. That might be
Yeah,
something I pick up like on a sale. Also, it's not. If they would have done the full on remake, I would have been more
and
excited about it.
I mean it came out a few days earlier for early access, but that Test Drive Unlimited game came out,
Oh
and it
yeah,
sounds
that
like
too.
a complete disaster, which
Oh,
is
the Solar
hilarious.
Crown. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, all that wait for that.
right.
Right, like
Like way to go.
there was people actually excited about that thing, and
And
you just
the problem actually isn't like the game itself. Like it's a driving game, but like it's so online focused, and the
yeah.
servers are busted. It's like cool.
Yep, and that Wild Bastards also coming out. I heard a lot of good things there about that, and the Funko Fusion game, another
Yeah,
game you can play with various. Nowhere near as good as Astrobot, I'm sure, but you can play with various different franchises in that too. If you want
no,
to.
you're being judgmental.
Oh gosh, yes. I'm sorry.
Once I'm at the Golden Girls Funko Pops, then you'll regret those
You
words.
know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Why not? But okay. Anything else you want to?
Nope.
Oh, before we
What?
did you watch the Minecraft trailer, the movie
Yeah,
trailer?
looks awful.
It's very interesting. That's all I'm
It's
gonna
nice to
say.
know that like the complete destruction of Jack Black's career is complete. Like
No, it's not. Come on, he's got Mario to do. He's be fine. I'm sure that movie will do well, actually, or decently. You get the Jason Momoa fans that will show up for that thing.
Yeah,
And
because they really showed up for Aquaman too.
well, not Aquaman, but I mean, Minecraft has its fans, man. You get the kids to go watch that thing.
And they don't want to see like fat, Jason Momoa either. Like,
yeah, wearing pink, and
right.
you got Jack Black as Steve. So hey, he'll make you laugh. That's an interesting one. I'm surprised. I guess they'll just make more allusions to the whole voxel stuff, but I'm surprised that they had them all be live action.
I'm sure that at some point there'll be like, voxel mode, or like, someone puts on glasses,
okay,
and yeah. I said that to Jens, and he was kind of surprised because I thought he was like, he made the comment like, I thought Steve was black, and I was like, maybe. I mean, he looks kind of dark in some of the shots, or like, some of the gameplay shots or whatever, but
yeah,
I didn't really notice or care, like.
Right. It's not a. Thankfully we haven't seen people. At least I haven't in the spaces that I've seen on X or whatever
Right.
who's been commenting on that. But yeah, it should be interesting when that comes out next year. How well it does. Hopefully it's good. At least continue the track record of having mostly good video game movies lately.
Yeah.
But all right. Until next week, everybody, thank you for watching, listening, and like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. See you later.
Later.
Bye.